Oh my gods, where do I start? Okay, hi, I'm Earth. I played Monster Hunter Wilds for 10 hours straight twice. Do not follow in my footsteps, I beg you. Play it in bursts. Actually, I'm not sure where to start, so a little bit of preamble beforehand. I covered Monster Hunter Rise and World separately. I liked them both, but I didn't like some parts. 2 videos done, out of the way. Then I made a comparison of the two, highlighting the strengths and weaknesses of both. The response to that was, more than I was expecting. But in it, I stated I was excited to see what Wilds has to offer. Fast forward 2 open betas, a pre-order, and a feral basement goblin watching a download bar, and here we are at Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, hey look, this game has arachnophobia, sisters.
Why?
Because there are certain small spider-like creatures.
Oh.
There's also big ones, but it doesn't affect the big ones. Good luck with that. I'm going to be covering this in a similar fashion to Both Are Good, as it was easy to section, edit, and digest. He says, with almost a full D drive of specifically Monster Hunter footage. So, with all the preamble out the way, here it is. And as usual, spoilers. Heavy spoilers. Monster Hunter Wilds is the latest in the franchise, featuring a whole list of things to see, fight, fish, and shove into your mouth. Whether it be brand new or familiar faces, or butts.
What?
Stop farting on me, you fucking
like
asshole.
Ew.
The gas shouldn't come out the front end. Angalala, I think you have a medical issue. Wilds brings it to the table and sets you loose to see it all. With some direction, of course. So, let's start with the movement. I think they did it. I think they found the perfect middle ground for movement. When you're running, you actually have some proper weight to it this time, and it feels like you're actually trying to get out of the way. Furthermore, when it comes to climbing, it brings back Worlds climbing with a bit of the Rises boost at the start of it. I actually don't know if Worlds has the boost at the start of a climb. I genuinely am not sure. If you feel like you're going a bit slow, you can mount the Sacred, which I learned is not pronounced secret. Think of it like the Palamute in Rise, but with auto movement. So if your hands are hurting or you just want to look at your map or craft, it'll do the walking for you. I still think my favorite part about this is that with the mounts, I can just be all the way over here at the other side of my room and it's still moving. Moving the Sacred is a bit tough sometimes. It feels a slight bit unoptimized, having to either touch or hold Shift or Z to speed up, slow down, sprint, or stop. That is, however, a little bit sidelined to the fact that the Sacred can just look at the terrain and go, yeah, I can do that. Which, by the way, the Sacred look beautiful.
Now death greets me with a new mask, or are you my salvation?
I don't know how they did it, but they managed to get the high detail graphics without hurting my eyes. Well, low settings do look like a potato. When doesn't it? That's when you just want the game, not the graphics, or you're kind of stuck with that. And these are my graphic settings throughout the game, and in my opinion, it looks amazing. I can tell what's being shown with some beautiful detail. So much so as the cracks in the walls or the scratches from the wildlife. You can see what's there properly. You can tell what's what. It's not all melding together. I'd like to get serious for a moment. One thing that gives me a soft spot for this series is these little guys, the Palicos. Let me see my fuzzy little family members long gone, and with every generation and graphics overhaul, I get just a bit closer to seeing them again in all of their chaotic glory. I
love the cat.
Can I get real for a second?
Yeah.
When I started writing the when I started the sheet for the Monster Hunter Wild script, there was one part that I had. And that is like the graphics of this game get me closer to seeing old companions.
Oh.
It's Buddy. It's nice to have him back even for a
not
bit.
Helping. The sad music is not helping.
It's not. I miss you, buddy. I'm glad we can still adventure somewhere, even if it's digital. I've seen a lot of, you need this and this to make it look good, or else it looks descriptor and insult. And while I don't know any of what they're talking about, I also don't give a shit. It can be hit by the shock trap. Ooh, that's good news. That means I'm not totally fucked. I say as it sets on fire. I'm not playing a Monster Hunter game to look at every single pixel and see how it was made wrong or some shit. I just want a pretty place to look at and I got it. Like, look at that. I mentioned in my cover of the beta, but this is beautiful. The desert, the forest, hell, even the basin looks amazing. And don't get me started on the navigation. Good thing you didn't need to, because I got myself started on the navigation. This is map design and navigation, which I think did pretty well so far with some weak spots. Each zone shows quite well what you have to work with and a good idea of what's going to live there. You wouldn't look at a forest and expect a, oh god, I have to try to read this again, Rompopolo. I think that's right. I'm just going to double down with that. No, you have vibrant life and flower spiders. By order of the guild, kill that fucker. Hi, this is me interjecting with some post-game stuff. Once you get to the tempered monsters, that's not exactly true, but they also brute force themselves into the environment. Like previous titles, the maps can be a bit confusing, but wonderful to explore. Once again, my inability to learn how to differentiate trees and rocks will be my downfall. Thankfully though, the map was changed in this title to this overlapping layered style. I don't know what this is called, I just know the only place I remember seeing it is fucking Borderlands. The maps are wonderful with little spots to find and make camps, safe or otherwise, but some are a bit confusing to get to. Now, I may be blind, but some of the sacred paths are super hard to notice. Like, I thought this was a path and this wasn't a path. So, while the paths are a nice way to get around, they can be hard to spot. Now, I know I'm going to get used to them. Unsurprisingly, the guy who slams his head into walls is gonna find the sacred paths to get less concussions. Get encored, loser. I don't think fish are supposed to do that. I don't think this is a normal fucking fish. But I think after finding one, maybe have someone put up gem chimes near it. It'd make it a little bit easier to see. Similar to... We do a chromatris here. No. You're killing me here, lady. I'm a bit critical when it comes to menus, style, accessibility, size, etc., etc. Much so that I can jot my last rant to the UI to, man yells at ghosts. Both are very monotone and a bit annoying to navigate, which makes it a nightmare for folks if everything looks samey. The in-field health and stamina bars from World. Other than maybe the sharpness, I like Rises more. But it seems the UI has gotten a much needed makeover. Menus are easier to see, spaced and stylized to not only work with the game, but be manageable as well. The crafting and equipment is super streamlined, and you can actually see what you're equipping. And if you're not a fan of that, you can change it to the other modes, not just going off name and stats. And finally, fucking finally, there's a master volume slider. You wouldn't think someone would be picky about a master volume, but here I am. Basically, most, if not all things I had gripes with in World and Rise has been dealt with. For the UI, anyway. You have easy accessibility and settings for so much. Also on startup, it's flat out just like, hey, here's some startup things, not just new game, suffer. Get into the settings later, that's fun. Hi, so quick note, why the fuck is the multiplayer, like, access? Like, if I want to make a party, why is that so fucking difficult? I love the UI, except for that part. Thanks, Discord. But like, Rise had it so much better. It was just make a lobby, join a lobby. This one, it's like, and your friend. If that doesn't work, you're gonna have to like, oh, I don't know, just make a squad, do a squad lobby. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Here's some footage I picked from that.
Long story does Devil May Cry feel Yeah,
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
playing Virgil, but we all know Dante is far superior, baby.
Hey, man. I don't have an
I'm
opinion
making
on this.
fighting
I'm just saying,
words.
hey, man.
I'm having fighting words with this jarhead, and I'm allowed to call him a jarhead.
The
Nobody else.
only
Me.
character worth playing. I was about
Now,
to
this-
look at my list and be like, oh, which wild stream am I going to be playing Longsword? Like, the 7th, if we get there. God. I mean,
Yeah,
depending on
Earth
how
is
this
trying to
goes,
do every single weapon in Monster Hunter.
I want to learn each weapon because I think it'd be very fun. Right
Master
on.
Hunting Horn, and you'll always be loved.
I have
Listen,
a
man.
great thing to tell you. I secondary hunting horn.
Okay, I'm in a fight, but you're still not here.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Lobby number.
I'm just killing bugs.
Fuck, you might need a... Oh, jet bugs? You might need to fire off an SOS.
How do I do that?
When you hit control, you have your wheel. And then you want to hold click and then go to the SOS.
Okay, let me try using an SOS flare.
Long Nashers.
Yeah.
I don't have access to it on my control wheel.
What the fuck? Monster Hunter notoriously picky. I'm making a squad so that we can do squad lobbies. I sent you a squad invite.
Dog.
Okay, I'll be here.
Come on.
I'm gonna return to the title screen and see if I can go to a lobby from there. Because if I can, that means we can sideline having to go through Alma. If I can. Lobby search, squad lobby search. Okay, yeah. Choose your character, lobby search, squad lobby search. Please let this work. I don't see why this wouldn't work. Okay, Larry the Wolfman has entered the lobby. So I've been told. Why is yours daytime? Whatever. I'm just assuming if we, like, now, because we're in the same lobby, it should work. Whenever one of the other starts a quest, on a story quest, once you start fighting the monster, the only time you'll be playing together for the story. So it seems now that you're done the introductory quest and have fought Deshagama. I think you fought Deshagama. I don't know. Anyway.
No, I haven't fought the dog yet.
Okay, so supposedly, if I'm reading all of this correctly, starting at the big Deshagama fight, you should be able to have me join you specifically for the monster fights.
Okay. So let's just put on the open scene and we'll get this going.
Yeah, we'll just piss through it because holy fuck, that was a lot. So if it's like side fights or like optionals, or like later game, yeah, we can play together. But for when it comes to story, it seems that it's specifically when he's fighting the monster of the story part. Some areas are certainly still overwhelming, but it's not as much of a fight to get into. Remember when folks were mad that you could aim your weapon now instead of just not using it or adapting? The combat, as a Switch Axe and Hunting Horn player anyway, is just as fun. It's on the quicker end of combat, which is already fun, and if you're not careful, or if you're extremely confident, you can end up fighting with a whole pack of monsters. Now why would I separate them? Actually, hold on. Not that one. I need the right pod. Not luring pod. I need the fucking scroll wheel, please. Going on more about the start of this section, melee weapons have an aim, or a focus mode, which isn't actually just aiming. It properly opens up the new wound system. If you're in focus mode and you see this red batch of bugs, hit your focus attack and start swinging. It also has some fancy mechanics when monsters are doing certain attacks or are on their sides, but that's always been a hit and miss for me. I keep going around monsters like I'm going around the back of a bus, so when I finally get to it, it's already gone. The combat felt pretty balanced. The monsters moved at a decent pace, and with most weapons having some type of parry or clash, you're incentivized to fight and learn the monster more so than just headbutting it. Your fighting style is not bear off. Please stop. No, don't look over there. No, The hammer's fun, but look at me. We're not talking about the hammer. If you want a hammer, you look for a build for that. Playing with the terrain is incentivized as well, being called out or marked on the left of your screen. Anywhere from some vines or hard rock to, oh, no biggie, ancient rubble can be used along with the endemic life to turn the battle in your favor. Oh, you also can't just turn every monster you find into a quest instantly, because... And that leads us into the story.
Thank you.
They are one step away from bomb-ass pizza. I'm not going to give each and every single note of the story, not my area to dip in. But the story is around the usual Monster Hunter from what I know. Basically, this kid is important and traumatized. You're looking for his people somewhere in the Forbidden Land, which everyone thought was a dead zone for people. Surprise. It's not. They just aren't hunters. Yeah, not only is hunter a specific job, it's also not universal. The people in the Forbidden Lands have been finding ways to exist around the larger monsters. The folks in the desert use gem chimes to scare off monsters, as it apparently sounds similar to a monster they fear. The Wudwuds in the forest have a degree of speech that they've learned and use their environment and tributes, or tributi, to their advantage. I wouldn't want to annoy these little guys either. It just takes one of them learning their teeth can hurt a person. Even further, the 3 tribes of the oil well, they don't fight monsters. The bone folk still use the remains of what they find in the pits. The stone folk are amazing craftsmen with local resources popping out of the walls and tar. They are literally in the best place they could be for being the stone folk. And the oil folk being, in my opinion, the life of the cultures. Their work focused around the fine materials for them to pick up and refine for everyone else to use. Then you have the remains of something larger, a people so beyond that they began playing with life itself. You see fragments of something early on, but it becomes apparent that whoever they were, their end was anything but peaceful. Frozen remains and distant structures showing what once was, exploring the heart of their work, seeing the effect it had on the wildlife. And this story also carries my favorite line in any game ever, said by the main character.
By my own order. I will slay Xochitl.
One thing I'm not a fan of, though, and this is like kind of my only gripe with the story, at least main game, I'm not sure about post game, is the amount of times you get railroaded. I know World had that sometimes, but it wasn't nearly as bad. At least I could still meander around a bit. Now I can equip a secondary.
Even added a holster so you can carry an additional weapon.
That's a gun. There's no transition, just this. I love good design. I love a show of progress. Monster Hunter has been pretty decent at that. The gear in Wilds is similar to that of Rise, actually, and it has major design changes for the gear, but not much in personal variety, where Doshiguma 1 and 2 are similar, but Doshiguma and Guardian Doshiguma are mostly a color palette change. But that's at least in weapons. The armor has one of my favorite things, being it's no longer gender bound, so you can mix and match the gear however you want, with either options. So, hey, if you want to be a power bro in a dress, go for it. Not a soul can stop you. Personally, I ain't doing that. Surprising literally nobody, the guy with a masked character enjoys the mask options, especially the Chotacabra and... oh god, I have to read this again. Why did I write this at least 3 times? Especially the Chotacabra and the Rompopolo designs. And you're familiar. Whatever. The gear is all crafted by this lovely lady, Gemma, an amazing smith that the internet had a completely normal reaction towards. Hey, so I'm learning this as I'm playing, but apparently tempered monsters drop parts to make custom weapons. I've actually made 2 of them so far, and they're pretty cool. Essentially, you can make a custom weapon that if you have like the majority be one element, it's that element, or if you have it being 3 different elements, it's no element. And you can work into like your affinity, your attack, or stuff like that. And I think that's really cool. I'm gonna fuck around with that more. Holy shit, the monsters. Wilds has a wild range of monsters to see and fight. Small, large, forbidden entities beyond comprehension. Good to know they're delving into the Eldritch. The usual. Region is actually, as far as I can tell during the main story, new monsters with few returning faces, like Kongalala. Why were people excited about the farting ape? In all of this footage, you may have noticed Rathalos is nowhere to be seen, which, A, why were you paying attention to that? And B, he was waiting for the perfect time. That time being a showcase of what the ancient civilization was doing. No fucking way. What happened to it? Now, well, it's not the first face you see. It is one of them. See, there's a category I have not mentioned in this game till now. Construct. Artificial monsters powered by the energy of the land. Wilk. No, I'm not calling it wyvern milk. I don't want to think that the land was powered by someone's dairy addiction. These guardians don't need to eat and are damn near immortal. By natural causes, anyway. And because of this, they don't reproduce. They don't have the bodily function for such. So please, put your pens down, I beg you. These guardians are part of the big bad mystery that the region has to offer, along with the Wilk that you can find around. Early enough is under the desert's oasis. I found this area in the desert, and it's very interesting. I love the guardian design, because while it is a variant, it's a warped twist of the normal monster form, not fully knowing what it is and being around long enough to create its own food chain. Because if something's in nature long enough, there's going to be something that can eat it. There is one, though, that I despise for more personal reasons. I thought, I hoped, I begged silently that I wouldn't be haunted by one monster's presence. No, not Tigrex, although it's a pain to fight. Not Rajang either. This one has its own hell-powered ape. No. Early in the game, I saw the Jerky, which, if you don't know, stops bleeding. Something in my head was whispering of a beast that I had a personal gripe with, but I had put it off. Multiple monsters can cause bleed. It couldn't be that one. Later, I saw a mask when I was looking at players' profiles for an achievement. One I thought to be familiar, but put off as coincidence. Armors are never usually coincidence, but there was that whispering again, and little did I know I'd find some tracks. I've never really looked closely at tracks, but it felt familiar. I guess I paid attention to this one. It was Odegarin.
An Odegarin, probably a subspecies.
No. Oh no. Not only was it Odegarin, it's a guardian ebony Odegarin that was to be a protector, killer that isn't beaten by hunger, a killer that wants you gone. I knew that bleed resistance was going to be needed somewhere. From the start, I had a feeling in my gut that something was coming back to remind me of its actions, and there it was. I will gladly make this thing my primary target just to make it the largest number on my hunting list. Hi, Music Edition. Once again, the music is a banger. That's all. No notes. Actually, that's a lie. One note. Gemma hums the main theme when she's working, and I think that's really sweet. But would I suggest Monster Hunter Wilds? That really depends. If you're looking to get into Monster Hunter, that's a solid maybe. There's cheaper titles out there unless you're absolutely sure you want it to be Wilds. At that point, I can't stop you. If you're returning to the series, oh yeah, 100%. It still feels like Monster Hunter, and even with bugs and issues from what I've seen personally, this is the better end of new releases on launch. Also, it doesn't have a battle pass, so Yay. Why the fuck are we normalizing premium battle passes? For players who want their time respected, I'm the guy who has these hours on other grindy games. Please ask someone else. No, but actually, Wilds does respect your time in the same way that others do. If a monster kicks your ass, prep up and fight it again. The monster won't be unavailable by the time you get back. I still would say do your research and ask around if it's a game for you. Hi there. This section is very much not scripted and has come a long while after the main video was recorded on terms of like graphical shit and bugs and such. There are a lot more popping up and it's led to the game getting a pretty schnasty review. That is something that I do genuinely hope gets fixed because I really don't want to see this game go down the hole. I really hope they manage to pull it out from the depths. Even some folks with higher end computers now are running into struggles even with their settings finagled. It's genuinely becoming a problem. So I extra emphasize, do your research before you go and get the game. Okay, bye. As I'm just another guy yelling on the internet. That just another guy whose video you've reached the end of. This is a game that's going to keep me in a chokehold for a while. So I'm probably going to be dead for a little bit. Otherwise, that's all for me. See ya. I find it really funny that I say I don't have an outro, but it always turns into that's all for me. See ya. I think I kind of just plucked that from like... Didn't I just pluck that from Critical? Hold on. Moist Critical. Thank you for that stream of 3 hour. Pokemon fans are mad at me. Cool. I just want to hear the end of this. I don't care about Godzilla. Yeah, I really did just take that, slightly change it. Damn.